Welcome to From Cookie Cutter to Creative Crafts, Texture Art for Kids. Here are some cookie cutter, copycat, texture art pieces that I found online. And now we will look at how to do texture art in a more creative, developmentally appropriate way. So I'm going to show you that you can show, it depends on the ages, showing texture, but there's real texture and there's implied texture, which means it's something that looks like texture without it actually being texture. And the best way to show this is with a stencil I have of a brick wall. And how we're going to use it is I'm going to use some of this vinyl spackling compound. And I'm going to show you, we're going to put this through onto a paper. Now, you can put a color in this. Maybe we'll actually do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put some of this compound into a cup. I'm going to take a little bit of some color, some paint. I will mix it. And then we have colorful compound. So I'm going to do, first I'll do, this is going to be like, we're going to slather it so it is like a icing, like an icing. And we take the compound and we put it through. Now, we pick this up, and this is going to dry, and it's going to dry hard, and you will see real texture. Nice, hard texture that you can actually feel. Implied texture, as I said, is when it looks like texture without it really being texture. And one good way to do that is to make a rubbing. So I'm taking the same stencil and I'm using a peeled oil pastel and I am making a rubbing. So that way you get the idea of texture without it actually being texture itself. So if you take plain cardboard, in between pieces of cardboard is like a very textured part. It's like a sandwich. When you peel apart this piece, you will get a very textured piece of cardboard like that, okay? So what we're going to do now is we're going to cut it into different shapes, and then we're going to make rubbings. So what I'm doing here is I'm cutting the cardboard into many different shapes. We have circles, we have squares, there's a hexagon, and then I'm ripping off the top part of the cardboard to show the texture, the ridges. Sometimes it can take a little bit work to do that. You can use a scissor or something to score the lines and to pull it off. And we create a whole bunch of different shapes, and then we're ready for the rubbings. To do the rubbings, you need a paper, a thin paper, a piece of copy paper is good. And then you need either crayons or oil pastels that are peeled. Then let me show you what to do if your oil pastels are dirty, like mine are. You use a scissor and you just clean them off like that. Then you take the paper, you lay it on top of the textured part, and you have them use the crayon or oil pastel on its side. They can do it coloring, but it works really much better when they just lie it down there, and then they could just do a whole bunch of them and they will see the texture coming through, and it's just very cute. Some of them end up making a picture with it. Okay, here we have a 4.5-year-old trying this out. He used the stencil first, and now he's trying a number of different of the objects. Now, he was having a little bit of a problem. He just was like coloring it with it, and I was trying to get him to just do it on its side, showing him how much better it comes out. And then there's a piece of, I think it's called punchinella, and it's really cool watching how he does that and how when he does it right on top of it, there's texture, and otherwise there's not. Okay, the next thing is a rough and soft collage. So you collect a whole bunch of rough and soft materials. There's felt, and there's soft yarn, and there's burlap, and there's that punchinella material and the cardboards, and you have them do collages with that materials. Here are two children doing a rough and soft collage, some adding coloring to it also. There's all the rough and smooth and lots of glue. And this child decided to use some of the pieces for a real picture. He saw a triangle, he made a house and added a gate. So this last example is an attempt to show you how dried glue has a texture as well. So I think it didn't work out as well because I was doing it on construction paper. But you see when you take a brush and you smooth out the glue, there's no texture. But if you take a glue bottle and you make lines and just drip the glue all over, my intention was to show them how once it's dried, it's a texture and you probably could even glue over it. However, it dried instead with indentations. It did add a texture, but not what I thought it would. Actually, this last idea was I walked around my house taking pictures of textured objects to show you if you give children large pieces of paper and ask them to walk around the house, all the classroom, they can get great rubbings. To learn more how to turn copycat crafts into creative art, go to eduartforkids.com.